rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, you are all doing well. So, I'm on live. If you are joining me, please let me know where you are joining me from. I always want to know where you are joining me from, and that makes me um, to better bring topics and communicate and relate with you even better. So I want to know my audience as well. So inshallah, if you are joining me, let me know. If you catch the replay, um, let me know where you are joining me as well. And also let me know if these topics are interesting to you to for me to make more of these topics, inshallah. So today's topic I'm excited about is um is about breastfeeding whilst fasting. This is a question that keeps coming again every year. The ulamas give us their fatwa. They give us their what they think the Quran explains about fasting and breastfeeding, about fasting and pregnancy, and they tell us their opinions. But most of the time, every year there are people who get pregnant. Every year there are people who breastfeed. So the fact that the question comes over and over again is because it's needed. Because when somebody finds herself pregnant, when a woman finds herself pregnant, and it takes about maybe a year or two to be pregnant again, maybe, or to breastfeed again, you see that the knowledge or whatever you know before, you might have forgotten, or you might know, but there is some doubts. You want to be very clear, right? So today's topic is breastfeeding and fasting, and then also pregnancy and Ramadan fasting. So there is quite a few questions that I received, and I want to start by saying that this is very, very sensitive topic, and it's also individualized topic. There is no yes or no answer to this question, and there is no a set on stone answer, right? There is no like, okay, breastfeeding is okay whilst fasting. You can breastfeed and you can fast at the same time, or there's no answer as you can fast whilst pregnant. No, every pregnancy is different. Even with two pregnancies. So, same woman, if you are pregnant with a child, your next pregnancy would be the totally different pregnancy. It's not going to be the same pregnancy, right? So the first pregnancy would be different. Maybe it's easy breezy, and your next pregnancy might be a little bit of challenge, or it might be even easier than what you had before, and then the subsequent pregnancy would be different. So pregnancy is totally individualized event. We cannot really say that if you are pregnant, everybody should. If you are pregnant, you should fast. And we know already in Islam, Allah tells us a little bit. It tells us in the Quran that a mother should breastfeed her baby until recommended to breastfeed her baby until the age of 2 years, right? So that is something that as women, Muslim women, we pay attention to, and we strive to really accomplish. When we have a baby, we strive to accomplish nursing our baby until the age of 2 years, right? If if nothing is wrong, if we are healthy and we are producing the milk as much as possible and the baby is latching properly and all of that, we strive as much as possible to nurse the baby until 2 years, right? But sometimes things happen and a lot of women are not able to, and that's okay too. That is totally okay. You do what you can do. The best thing is to just try. But sitting down not trying is also a problem. So as far as you try, Allah knows your intention. Right. So every pregnancy is different, and we cannot say that every pregnant woman should be fasting. And then we know also that there is there is the opinion. There's the opinion that the ill person, somebody who is ill, somebody who has a disease that doesn't allow the person to fast, somebody who is traveling, children who are not in their adolescence yet, who have not reached the puberty yet, and older people, maybe very, very, very old, are not able to fast in Islam. They are not able to fast. And then women who are on their period and women who are on their nifas, they are not able to fast, right? And then also the opinion of scholars, the opinion of shuyukh in Islam also is that women who are pregnant are classified somehow in the category, mashallah tabarakallah, jazakallah khairan for joining, are classified in the category of the ill person. Okay, so if a woman is pregnant, she's classified in the category of somebody who is ill, even though we know that pregnancy is not a disease. Pregnancy is just a normal physiological event, right? But sometimes there are complications that come with pregnancy, with some pregnancies. Some pregnancies come with some complications like morning sickness, like nausea and vomiting, like constipation, like preeclampsia, maybe pregnancy-induced hypertension, like pregnancy-induced diabetes. There is a whole bunch of complications that come with pregnancy. So the ulama classifies pregnancy as the category of illness, right? And then also we know that there are research that also tells us that our food, when your nutrition, when you are pregnant, your nutrition is vastly, vastly important. Your nutrition is very, very important and is dependent. One of the things that your pregnancy depends on is your nutrition and how nourished you are. So if you find yourself pregnant and you are really not nourished, then it's going to be a problem with your pregnancy, possibly not, possibly yes. But as your pregnancy progresses, you see that there are concerns that would arise, that your doctor would be like, you have to increase your nutrition, you have to increase your calorie, you have to watch what you eat. The same thing happens when you are overeating or when you are eating foods that are not healthy for the baby, foods that are not healthy for the growth of the baby, right? So that happens, and then the doctor would recommend, or your midwife or whoever your health professional is, would caution you to watch what you eat, right? Because nutrition is one of the things that we control, right? There's a lot of things that happen when you are pregnant. We cannot control that because that is for Allah. Allah controls that. But what we can control is our nutrition and our stress and how we take care of ourselves. right? And our du'as, and then our hopes and all of that. We have high hopes that Allah is going to make things happen, right? It's going to make things easy. It's going to make things very, very not complicated, right? So one of the things that we can control is the nutrition. And then we know also that in literature, in scientific literature, if a woman's nutrition is not on point, there is some complications that happen. Like a lot of the times, there is like underweight. The baby would be like low birth weight, and there is some, maybe your placenta would not grow in a way that is supposed to grow, because all of those things depend on your nutrition. And then your nutrition also supplies your body to be able to produce enough blood, because you need to, your body, when you're pregnant, your body's need of blood increases, so your body starts to produce more blood. Your body starts to produce a lot of hormones, and hormones are dependent on your nutrition. Hormones are dependent on the protein and some fat that you eat, right? So it's very, very complicated. A lot of things happen when you are pregnant. So as a pregnant woman, it is very important that you pay attention and you sit down with yourself, even if you are feeling okay, you feel like your pregnancy is fine, you don't have any complications, you don't have anything going on. You have to like really assess what is your nutrition before you got into pregnancy. So if your nutrition is a very varied nutrition, you eat a lot of vegetables, you eat a lot of fruits, you make sure that you hydrate enough, you are not dehydrated before you got into pregnancy, you are really eating all of the other nutrients, the major nutrients and the macronutrients and the micronutrients. You are paying attention to all of those things before you got into pregnancy. Then there is likelihood that you are well nourished, right? So you have to ask yourself, what was your nutrition before you got into pregnancy? If your nutrition wasn't on point before you got into pregnancy, then it's a question mark. Is a question mark because there is a lot of big events that would happen down the lane. Okay, the first trimester requires different nutrition. It requires different nutrition for you, your body, to build up the muscle, for your muscles and the fat tissues and all of that to start producing the milk. Because once you get pregnant, that is when the milk starts to produce, right? You start automatically to start producing the milk, but the milk is not being released until you give birth, right? So you need all of those things: the fat, the carbohydrates, the hydration, the protein, especially. You need the salt, that's the sodium. You need potassium. You need magnesium, the minerals. You need all of those things. So if your nutrition is not on point before you got pregnant, ask yourself, when you got pregnant, did you go through morning sickness? Did you go through the early signs of complications of pregnancy, like morning sickness, nausea, vomiting? Did you vomit too much? Because vomiting too also deprives you from nutrition. As the more you vomit, the more the nutrients comes out, maybe some of the nutrients, not all, but your hydration is also questionable, because when you vomit, you lose water, you become dehydrated, right? So too much vomiting during first trimester or in pregnancy is a concern, right? We need to you need to tell your doctor or your midwife so that they give you appropriate recommendation how to hydrate yourself properly. So you have to ask yourself those questions. If you really want to fast during Ramadan, these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Is my nutrition, before I got pregnant, my nutrition, how is it? And then when you got pregnant, did you go through morning sickness? Did you go through all of those things? If the answer is no, then as time goes on, when you get to the second trimester, you see that you start to have a very big appetite. So that is because your baby is growing very, very fast. The muscles and the tissues are growing very, very fast than when it was in first trimester, very slowly, and it's just the organs and the other stuff that are growing, right? So now the muscles and everything is growing, and your baby needs that nutrition. It depends on you. And then also the placenta that is being produced by the pregnancy, it also depends on your nutrition. So you ask yourself that, right? That how is it going to be? Do you really have the nutrient store? When you move into your second trimester, how is it going to be? And then when you get to the third trimester, it's not only that you would have a big appetite, it's also that your body would require extra nutrition to get ready for birth and labor. Your body will require extra nutrition, extra hydration, extra minerals, extra electrolytes, okay, to get ready for birth and labor. So if you assess yourself with all of these questions, that are you ready for that? Are you replenishing your body with that? Are you nourishing your body with that? Then if all those answers are yes, then you can ask your doctor and make sure that your doctor is on point, understands what Ramadan fasting is. Ramadan fasting is when we stop eating from dawn until the sunset, right? So it depends on where you are, your geographic area. If you are, for instance, in an area that maybe in Africa, like Ghana, for instance, people fast maybe 12 hours or 11 hours, I think. So from maybe 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning until 6 or 6:30. So that is about 12 hours or 11 hours. But in the West, that is in the UK and in the United States, people we tend to fast for longer hours, especially when it's in the summer. Okay, so it's like 16 hours, sometimes 16, 17 hours. Is very, very long. So where is your geographic? Where are you? So if you are maybe in Egypt, and Egypt is in Africa, and it's not like a long fasting hours, then you ask yourself if you can go with that. And then you also make sure that your healthcare team know about that and they understand what Ramadan fasting is. How long is it? There is no drinking, there is no eating, right, during the fasting window. So they know and they can recommend you based on the growth of your baby, based on the growth of your placenta, based on your weight that you are gaining, or based on the weight that you are losing, right? So very, very sensitive topic, but it's also very important that we discuss that. And you also, if you like really thinking about fasting, you have to pay attention and ask these questions that I mentioned earlier. Okay. And also remember that when you give birth, your body during labor and birth, your body uses all the nutrients stored. And then when you give birth, your body starts to use all the nutrients stored as well to produce the milk. Because if you are going to nurse your baby, your body would produce the milk automatically, right? It will produce the milk. So your body needs the nutrition. Your body needs the calories. Your body needs the adequate macronutrients and micronutrients to be able to produce the enough milk, and also quality milk. Even though we know that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, made breast milk to be universal, I would say. Breast milk does is not dependent on it's really not fully dependent on the mother's nutrition. Whether you eat properly or you don't eat properly, the first few weeks or the first few months of breastfeeding, your breast milk is very intact. It is nourished with, it is fully nourished with the fat content it's supposed to have. It is fully nourished with the carbohydrate content it's supposed to have, water content is supposed to have, and the minerals is supposed to have. But there are certain minerals and there are certain vitamins that, if you, the mother, is not consuming adequately, then there is a little bit of difference, like iron and then vitamin D, right? So that is also something that you have to pay attention to and ask yourself that and make decision based on that. Okay? So that is for pregnancy. So it's not somebody who is going to decide for you. You have to decide for yourself based on all of these factors. How is your nutrition before you got pregnant? How is your nutrition in your first stage of pregnancy? That is your first trimester. Did you go through all of those morning sickness, not being able to eat adequately, not being able to drink enough, not being able to sleep enough, all of those things, right? All of those factors, your first stage of pregnancy. If that is not there, then you move on. Your second stage of pregnancy depends on a lot of factors as well. Okay? Your baby's muscles is growing as fast as it can be. So are you going to be able to nourish you, your body? Because as when we are pregnant, research also tells us that when women are pregnant and then they give birth, right? Sometimes your nutrient stores, whatever nutrients that your body stores, would be sapped out. Okay? Your body would take out the nutrients if you are not eating properly, if you are not nourishing yourself with the right nutrients, if you are not giving yourself adequate nutrition and all of those things. Your body is going to take out the nutrients that is stored already in your bones, in your joints, okay? And part of your muscles, some of your part of your muscles is going to take out all of those nutrients, the energy that it has already stored, and then make it up for the baby, or make it up for making milk for your baby. Make it up for the baby when it's in your uterus, or make it up for the baby when the baby is out through breast milk. Okay? So the Allah always would favor the life of a baby, because the life of a baby is important. The baby doesn't have anybody to the baby cannot get up and feed himself or herself. The baby cannot take care of himself or herself. The baby depends on the mother. So it is the responsibility of the mother to take care of herself, so that the taking care of yourself would take a little bit out of you and nourish the baby. But if you find yourself not able to do that, then your body is gonna automatically, that's how Allah designed us, it's gonna automatically sap out the nutrient and make up for the baby through breast milk, or when the baby is in the uterus, through building and building up the muscles and the organs and the nutrition that your baby needs, right? So it's very, very, very important. These are the questions you ask yourself and make the decision for yourself. I always say the decision of parenting, the decision of our homes is always, always, always very, very critical. And because Allah ordered us to get married, Allah made marriage something that he rewards, right? He made giving birth something that he rewards. He made taking care of our family and our babies, our children, something that he rewards, right? So it is always very important as well when we have a decision, major decision to make, we ask him through istikhara. So if you are making decision and you feel like the decision is hard for you to make, try as much as possible to set up some time to make istikhara and see what would be your reaction after that. What would be your decision after that? Okay, because in as much as possible, in as much as we think that this does not need istikhara, it truly is, because the nutrition of a baby determines its future nutrition as well. The nutrition of yourself determine your nutrition in your subsequent pregnancies. So if you are depleted nutritionally, your subsequent pregnancy, you are not able to replenish it. You are not able to replenish with the nutrients before you get pregnant again, then that is the problem. And that's the problem. Your bones and stuff will sap out everything and give it to the pregnancy. And that, we don't want that, right? You don't want to create problems for yourself just because you are trying to you are trying to be pregnant, or you are Allah is creating a baby inside of you. Right? You want to take care of yourself, be responsible for yourself. And then when the baby comes, you are responsible for the baby, and it becomes something beautiful. So these are the questions that you really, really have to sit down and ask yourself those questions. Okay? Ask yourself, what is your nutrition? What is your nutrition status? What is it? So that is dicey. It's very, very your decision to make, and the decision of your doctor. Make sure that your doctor is on point. The doctor understands what Ramadan fasting is. If your doctor is not a Muslim, or doesn't know, is not familiar with Ramadan fasting, you make sure you let them know, okay, before you take that big decision. Okay, so it's very, very important, and it's very, very, very dicey. So it is your decision, but based on what I have spoken earlier, based on what I'm talking about, just make sure that you pay attention to those things. If you answered yes, then it's your decision to make and find out. Okay, and then you don't also want to start fasting, because once Ramadan starts, and if you are pregnant, there is no cut off. Like when somebody is on his period, on her period, when you are on your period, you know that throughout Ramadan, you will not be fasting the 29 days or the 30 days. You might be fasting maybe 23 days or 24 days or 25 days, depending on the length of your period. So Allah, you see, coming back to it again, Allah is not meant to fast for 30 days. So that's how Allah made us. Okay? I would say, based on the analogy I have come up with, Allah himself knows that our body as women, when we are in the childbearing age, our body cannot be sustained for fasting for more than 30 days. For 30 days. So he has not made it obligatory for us to fast when we are on our period. So when you are on your period, 3, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, you are not obligated to fast, but you have to make up the fast, because that's making up is not 30 days long. So it is bit by bit, right? So there is very beautiful wisdom here if we really think about it, right? So it's the same thing. When you are pregnant, you will not be on your period. It's like everyday salat, everyday psalm, every day fasting, right? So once you decide to fast, you have to also think about, okay, are you going to be fasting every day, or are you going to be fasting every other day? I know there are sisters who have fasted when they were pregnant and it wasn't a problem, but sometimes you want to also think about your future body, okay? Because pregnancy is a nutritionally demanding period, as well as breastfeeding is also a nutritionally demanding period. So you want to really think about your future body. So even though now you are able to fast and you are pregnant or you are breastfeeding, how about in the future? Like I said earlier, how about when you want to subsequently have a baby? Are you going to have enough time to really pay attention to getting your body ready for the next pregnancy? Or is it going to be the same thing? You understand? So that's very, very important. That's very dicey. And may Allah, whoever is planning to fast whilst pregnant, may Allah help you in making the best decision. Okay. And then there's the ulama says, when you want to fast, just as what the recommendation is, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, as far as you know that you are not, your pregnancy is not in danger, you are not endangering your baby and your health, then you can decide whether you want to fast. But then the endangering of your body, of your baby, and then of your health sometimes doesn't come right away. Sometimes it takes time. Okay? Sometimes it takes time. It doesn't come right away. So you have to pay attention. Right? Like right now, you can make the decision and you want to fast. But then in the future, maybe your body has tapped out the nutrition and the energy and everything, and you are not able to replenish, and you are pregnant again. That is the endangering of your body, your health, and then your subsequent pregnancy. So you have to like really put pen and paper together and then weigh things out and see if anything like sounds like a red flag, or you can just try and see maybe one day and see if it works for you. If not, then you just leave it. Okay. And then when we come to nursing, that's breastfeeding whilst fasting, or fasting whilst breastfeeding, we know that there are 3 stages of breastfeeding. The first stage is the newborn stage. That is when you just gave birth, right away when you just gave birth, and you need to exclusively breastfeed your baby. It is highly recommended practice in Islam, and it is also highly recommended practice in the science, right? Okay. So evidently, like evidence based, there are a lot of research that talks about the importance and the health benefits of exclusively breastfeeding, right? It's not only that, but in Islam, we know that exclusively breastfeeding is highly recommended practice, right? So it is mentioned in the Quran, as well as our prophet also mentions that, right? So very important. So if you just gave birth and you have to exclusively breastfeed, your baby depends on your breast milk. That's the major source of nutrition, or that is the only source of nutrition of your baby. So from 0 day to 6 months, that is the only source of nutrition of your baby. So if you are exclusively breastfeeding and you are fasting at that same time, you want to be able to also ask yourself those questions. What was your nutrition before you had the baby? what was your hydration levels before you had your baby? So if those questions are not answered yes, then you have to also question yourself, because definitely it is not recommended. I wouldn't recommend my clients to fast when they are in the newborn stage, because there's a lot of stress that comes with it. There's the waking up in the morning, the waking up at night for the cluster feeding. There is like changing the diaper. There is you trying to get a routine. There is the baby also maybe not being able to latch, and you, both of you, are learning on how to nurse. You are learning on how to nurse your baby, and your baby is also learning on how to latch properly. So there's a lot of things that go on, and it's very important that you also pay attention to your hydration. You also pay attention to your healing and your recovery, especially if you had a C-section. You need to heal. What do you need for fast healing? Nutrition. You need good nutrition to fast heal, right? When you even when you birth your baby through the birth canal, you still need good nutrition to heal faster and recover, right? And also make abundant breast milk for your baby. So very, very newborn baby, it is very also dicey that you have to pay attention and ask yourself those questions. Okay, ask yourself those questions and not jump into making a decision that would maybe not be helpful for you in the future or for your baby in the future. But the decision is up to you. Okay, the decision is up to you. And then the second stage of nursing, the second stage of breastfeeding, is the stage of complementary food. That is from the 6 months upwards. From the 6 months to maybe a year, you add some complementary foods, right? It's not exclusively breastfeeding anymore. It is you breastfeeding and then start salads. Maybe you start salads, or you start puree foods, or you start giving your baby maybe a little bit of stuff that might introduce your baby to food. So the baby is not really is breastfeeding, but you are complementing the baby's feed, right? So that is from 6 months to maybe a year. So that time, some of the ulama says at that time you can decide whether you want to fast or you don't want to fast. So at that time, your baby is able to eat. The baby has already been introduced to food. So your baby is not heavily breastfeeding on your milk. He's not exclusively breastfeeding. He's not using your breast milk as the main source of nutrition. So there is maybe a little bit of nutrition. So at that time, when you are fasting, the fasting window in the day, right? You can choose not to breastfeed, or you can choose to pump, or you can choose to breastfeed not as frequently, and then supplement with food, some solid food. Or if you can decide whether you want to supplement with formula, or you want to just pump and supplement your baby with it, it's fine. So at that time, then fasting has started to begin to be sort of obligatory on you if your baby have started to eat, right? If your baby have started to eat, then your fasting have started to be obligatory on you. You have to decide. You have to start getting ready to fast. And then the third stage is from 1 year to 2 years. So from 1 year, your baby is now maybe fully on solids or 80% on solids. He's not fully dependent on your breast milk. So he's using your breast milk as a supplement, and then the food is now the main nutrition. So that is when you must fast, and it's obligatory. Okay, so that is what the ulama says. And that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense, because when you are supplementing, you know that your baby can eat the food. You can give your baby fruits, vegetables, cooked fruits, puree food, solid foods, or you can even cook your meal, your main meal, and serve it to your baby, and your baby is okay with it. It can eat during the day when you are fasting, during the fasting hours. Yes, then that's the time that you also can have a breather and fast, right? So after the iftar, then you can breastfeed your baby, and make sure that you also push some nutrition to yourself. You push some nutrition to yourself, and when it's suhoor, you push some nutrition to yourself. You breastfeed your baby as well. Make sure that you breastfeed him before suhoor ends, and then if suhoor ends, the baby starts to depend on the solid food, on the food that you're gonna serve him or her until iftar, right? So that is the idea, that is the idea, and that is the best. I think that's the best, and that makes a lot of sense. For me, that's what I did when I had my twin girls. The first 4 months I exclusively breastfed them. It was only breast milk, and then when we got to the 5th month, I started supplementing with food, and with formula, a little bit of formula, because they were two. So I was in school at that time doing my graduate education, so it was kind of a little bit of busy for me. And yeah, I need to do that, and that's okay. It's totally okay. Allah knows and Allah understands, and that's why He has not made it obligatory on us. Okay, so don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, don't be too hard on yourself. And if you need to fast, make the decision and fast. That's your decision. If you don't need to fast, you feel like you are doubtful, that's your decision too, and that's okay. And a lot of women would say that because they don't want to miss the fast, and then when they are ready to fast, when they are not breastfeeding or when they are not pregnant, they find it difficult to fast all by themselves and make up all those fasts. That's valid, but and then missing out on the Ramadan energy and Ramadan environment and vibes. That's valid, yes, but again, you have to pay attention and be truthful to yourself, as in you are in the childbearing age. So what are you doing to get ready for your baby? What are you doing to get ready for your body? Because you cannot just give yourself to rearing a baby and being pregnant and breastfeeding and taking your body, taking all the nutrients away for the babies. No, you also have to store some stuff for yourself. When you finish giving birth, you have to be healthy. You have to look healthy and look like human, right? And we also know that once you give birth or you are pregnant, they say that the gray matter on our brain, there's a gray matter on our brain. There is brain fog. There is a whole lot of stuff. That's why we have postpartum is difficult. A lot of people experience difficult postpartum. They don't heal properly, and there's hair loss, and there is like you're going crazy, but you are not crazy, because a lot of the times it's because of the nutrition. Maybe some part of it is because of the nutrition. We don't really eat enough, and pregnancy takes away a lot from us. Breastfeeding takes away a lot from us. Birth itself takes away a lot from us. If you had C-section, it takes even more from us. So it's very, very tasking. So all of those things, if we put them together, that's a lot. That is a lot. So you can decide, put all of those things and decide if fasting is good, it's appropriate for you. If it is not, just leave it. And then get a support group after you had your baby, after nursing your baby. Get a support group. If you don't get a support group, create a support group yourself, and then start support group of women who have fasting to make up. And if you are interested in it, I can join together with you and we can do it. Anybody who is interested, let me know in the comment section and we can create something beautiful like that. Okay, so support group of sisters who have had babies or who were pregnant or who are nursing their babies and are not able to fast. So you join together and you calculate how many times you make maybe a planner on how you want to make up those fasts and how you want whatever you even your nutrition that you'll be eating whilst you are fasting. It's gonna be like something beautiful. So if you think about that, that is very important, and that is your decision as well. It is your decision as well. I have listened to an audiobook. Actually, I have not finished listening to it. I started and I have not finished. It's a very interesting book. It talks about the postpartum period, the postpartum depression. Now that we hear a lot of postpartum depression and stuff like that because of the nutrition, because we are not we find a lot of women, we find ourselves doing the child rearing all by ourselves, and we are not able to like eat the way we're supposed to eat. The stress is too much. We do all the chores by ourselves, the kitchen chores, the taking care of the children, and all of those things. They are all energy draining. They are all nutrient depleting. And you see, when we give birth, it's like a lot of people go through mood swings, baby blues, postpartum depression, perinatal disorders, and all of that. Allah forbid. May Allah make it easy for anybody who is going through that. May Allah make it easy for even anybody who shows signs of that, not going through that yet. Allah should heal and give them shifa. Yeah, so that is my take on that. And then my last advice quickly, then I call it a day, is this. If you decide to fast when you are nursing, okay, there are some things that you have to pay attention to, because dehydration is very real and is very serious matter. Okay, if you decide to fast when you are nursing, because we know that breast milk is full of water, so you need to really hydrate yourself. Already fasting is water demanding. We really need to hydrate ourselves even when we are not breastfeeding. But when you find yourself breastfeeding, you have to pay attention to your hydration. Not only drinking water. Make sure that the water that you are drinking has a lot of electrolytes in it. So you don't have to go and buy like fancy electrolyte water. If you want to, it's fine. If you want to and you have the means to do that, it's accessible to you, it's totally fine. But for those of us, or for those of you who are not able to go and get special electrolyte water, what do? You make sure that you drink water that has electrolyte. What are the liquids that have electrolyte? That's soup. You make sure soups are available to you every day after suhoor, or before suhoor or in between suhoor, or soups are available that you munch on it during iftar. So during iftar, when you have your fruits and vegetables and you go for your Maghrib prayer, you come back and you have your meal, make sure that you have soups as well. And then some people also like smoothies. Okay, so for me in the morning, I am split on smoothies. When it's too cold, the weather is too cold, smoothies is not a good idea. Soups are excellent because it's warm. And then iftar is going to be smoothie. So that's how you can do it, because smoothie has a lot of nutrition in it. And make sure that when you are making the smoothie, you don't add a lot of fruits. You add more vegetables instead. I have made a live 3 days ago about how you can prep for your smoothies as easy as it can be, so that you don't have to get up every day prepping your vegetables and your fruits before you make your smoothie. You prep it and you put it in the Ziploc bag that is freezer friendly, and you put it in your freezer. When you are ready, you bring it out, you put it in the blender, blend it, broom, broom, broom. You have yourself something beautiful that is full of nutrition and hydration, and it's gonna keep you full, and it's gonna help you to keep being sane and alive, right? And keep making the good nutrient dense milk for your baby. Okay, so that I will link it down in the description box below, and if you are interested also, you can check my video tab and get that. Yeah, so that is just by the way. And then also I have made a video on watermelon drink. I'm gonna upload that if you are interested as well. So pay attention to your nutrition. Dehydration is very, 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 very serious. You don't want to be dehydrated. And some of the signs that you can look out for when you start to feel like you are dehydrated is brain fog. So you feel like you can't think right, your mind is going here like that. Then you have to just sit and pay attention. Are you going to break your fast, or are you going to continue with it? At that time, make a very critical decision whether you want to break that fast if you are fasting, or you want to continue with it. Maybe it's iftar is very close, right? So pay attention. Brain fog, no, you don't want to move forward with it. And then when your urine is too yellow, like it is very yellow, and when you go to the bathroom, it's like very teeny tiny bit of urine that comes, and it's very yellow, that is a sign of dehydration as well. So you want to really check on that. And when you do your iftar or you break your fast, you make sure that you drink water, you take soups, and you drink broth if you are somebody who likes broth. You make smoothie, you make like this one I made, the watermelon drink, is only watermelon and some mint and some ginger and date and coconut water. So some people don't find the taste of coconut water desirable. So you put the coconut water. Coconut water is very high in potassium. It is very high in magnesium. It is very high in a lot of the minerals that are hydrating, right? So you want to add the coconut water, not just water, right? You want to, and then also watermelon has a lot of water in it, and it's a sunnah food. It's prophetic inspired, so it's even a plus. So you make it and you blend it, and it's like a drink. You drink it when you are breastfeeding, even if you are not fasting. This is a smart way to hydrate yourself and make yourself really pleasant. Because sometimes when people find themselves hungry, they tend to be angry, right? So hunger sometimes makes people angry, and we don't want that to happen, especially when you have toddlers at home and you are fasting. Fasting is like you are low energy, no food in your body, no food in your tummy, and your toddler is just having a tantrum and all of those things, and you have a baby and you are breastfeeding, you see? So that's when you snap. And subhanallah, we don't want that to happen. So one of the reasons why Allah has now also made fasting obligatory on us when we are pregnant. Fasting obligatory on us when you're exclusively breastfeeding. But when you are supplementing and complementing your baby's feed, then yeah, it's fine. fasting has started to become obligatory, and you have to make up that fast, and you have to make it up. You have to make it, right? Yeah. So all of those things is very important. You pay attention to your nutrition, you pay attention to your hydration, and you pay attention to your stress level. And again, like I said, fasting also sometimes poses stress on our body, right? And then stress is one of the things that decreases breast milk supply. One of the things that decreases breast milk supply. So you have to pay attention to that. And then if you are fasting and you are breastfeeding, make sure that you come back to the nutrition that I was talking about, right? And then frequency of feeding as well. So if you are not frequently feeding your baby, your milk supply will decrease. So that's one of the concerns. If you are going to decide whether you want to breastfeed, you have to weigh that out as well. Are you always going to breastfeed? Maybe you are going to nurse your baby 3 times or 4 times a day, and then you are fasting. Are you going to reduce the number of feeds? Also, if you reduce the number of feeds, your body is going to be signaled, right, that you are no more feeding as frequently, and it will reduce the amount of breast milk that it is producing for your baby, and that would affect your breast milk supply. So you have to put all of those things into factor and make your decision based on those things. Okay. Yeah. So I think that is what I have to say. And also, like headaches, if you have a lot of headaches, because even if you are not breastfeeding, if you are not pregnant, if you are not nothing, and you are just fasting, sometimes headaches is a problem. And also it is because of the hydration. It's not really the food, it's mostly because of the hydration, right? So you make sure that you hydrate yourself. So if you start to feel headaches, that means you are dehydrated. You are getting to the point of dehydration. You make your decision whether to break your fast, or you make your decision if you don't want to fast the next day, right? So yeah. And I think that is all that I want to say. If you have any question, you can let me know in the comment section below. If you want me to make a detailed a video, maybe not a live, a detailed video to share, I can do that as well. I will plan to do that even. And also I would come on to speak about postpartum, like postpartum nutrition, and how you can also help yourself from postpartum depression. Now we have a lot of cases about postpartum depression, perinatal disorders and stuff like that. So I'll come out to talk about that as well. So inshallah, I will end it here. It's already late. So if you have any question, please don't forget, put it in this comment section below, and share this video to anybody who you think might benefit from. And if this is helpful for you, please let me know, and also share it. Like I said, if you have not subscribed yet, click the subscribe button. We need you, the family. We will be happy that you join this family, and the family keeps growing. Yeah, so we'll be happy to have you. So inshallah, I will see you soon. Take care of yourself, and jazakumullahu khairan. Until next time, be in the best of health and iman. And also, I want to also end it as, may Allah make it easy for us. Whatever I have said, may Allah forgive me if I said anything that is not correct. Whatever I said that is correct is from Allah. May Allah always protect my tongue and allow me to say what I'm supposed to say, what is truthful, and detest what is not truthful. So Allah help you if you are pregnant. May Allah help you make it easy, make it pregnancy easy, make your delivery, your birth easy. If you are breastfeeding, make your breastfeeding easy. Put barakah in your milk, and make your baby grow up to be the best of the best, your kurata ain, and also the apple of your eye, and also yeah, make it easy for all of us, inshallah. So I'll leave you here. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.